Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, this Euro 2020 special on PLZ Soccer. We are on YouTube, Facebook and of course Twitter as well. Great to have your company. You can post your messages, give us your thoughts on Friday's game against England. It finished 0-0. We'll get the thoughts of Gabriel Antoniazzi, who was down there at Wembley watching on for PLZ Soccer, and of course Roughie. And we'll look ahead to the crucial game tomorrow. It is absolutely vital. We've got to somehow find a goal from somewhere. We don't care who it is. As long as we score, as long as we win, then we're in the mix. But let's quickly go back the way and get your thoughts, Gabriel, on what was, an unbelievable 90 minutes. You must have been, you must have been surprised, delighted, elated at the end of it, 0-0.
Yeah, I said to you as I walked in, it was the best 0-0 I'd ever seen. When we went in, we weren't sure how many Scotland fans were going to be in there, because we were told around 2,000 of the 22,000 were going to be Scotland fans. I'd somehow managed to get my hands on a ticket, but it was around a 40%, 60% split. But the Scotland fans outsang the England fans for the whole game, and they all felt that they outplayed England as well. It's a fantastic performance from the entire team. It was the best performance I've ever seen Scotland give, certainly given the magnitude of the match. Billy Gilmore, unbelievable. We spoke about it. Roughie said that he'd heard for months how good this boy is. Are we going to see it? We certainly saw it. Man of the match, fully deserved. Stephen O'Donnell, Cal McGregor, that was the best I've seen him play in at least 18 months as well. Fantastic night for Scotland, the players, the management staff, all the fans as well, and we're still alive going into the final game. Yeah,
although, Roughie, the nation is back up again after that performance against England, and then suddenly, as we're thinking about what we're going to talk about today, we're as flat as a pancake, because I cannot believe it. Billy Gilmore tested positive for COVID. He's out for the next 10 days.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the boy. Obviously, as Gabriel said there, he had a tremendous game. He lived up to all the hype that everybody had been telling us about, and he's definitely one for the future. But we just have to go on with it. That it's a squad game, Scotland, but he will be missed on the evidence of Friday night.
Yeah, a big hi to Rick Stark, who's out there in Canada. Barry Grant is in Dubai at the moment. And hi to Una, Stuart Carruthers, Ronnie Chapman, Robert Monroe, Shane Johnston, so many people joining us. And Andrew Breslin just says, do we have no luck whatsoever? Gilmore with COVID. It's the ultimate kick where the sun don't shine, Gabe.
Yeah, I know. First of all, you hope he's okay. We're hearing that he's got no symptoms and he's fine. He's just in his hotel room at the moment. It's absolutely gutting. You just think, finally, we haven't got a slice of luck, but we've played as well as we know we can. And then this comes in. We don't know how he's got it. We hope that the rest of the team continues to stay negative. They were tested yesterday. They're all negative at the moment, and no one else has to go into self-isolation because they've not been deemed close contacts, which is good, a positive. Zlatko Dalic, the Croatia coach, incidentally, wasn't too happy about that because he thought the UEFA rules stipulated that the whole team would go into isolation, which would obviously be a bit ridiculous because we couldn't fulfil the fixture then. So hopefully everyone else stays healthy. Gilmore, it's just gutting. I was speaking to Scotland fans at the full-time whistle walking out Wembley Way, and we were saying Gilmore's going to start every Scotland game for the next 15 years until he can't run anymore, because he will. He certainly will, but unfortunately he'll miss this game, and if they do make it through to the last 16, he'll miss that as well. Could be available for the quarterfinals if you've got your optimistic hat on, but
yeah.
I
think Gabriel's in 3 Jags. But to be honest with you, Roughie, I love some of the message. You know what it's like when the social media kicks in a positive sense. And he said, there was one guy who posted a message saying, well, at least none of the England players will have to isolate because they never were anywhere near Billy Gilmore, which kind of summed up his performance. It was magnificent. But the downside is, Roughie, I mean, we are all gutted, but the nation's pinning its hopes on a 20-year-old.
Yeah, but we did it with Tierney, didn't we? We pinned our hopes on a centre-half, an overlapping centre-half. That's where we are. And now we'll find a gem. We're going to be without him. I'm sure that they have to come up with some kind of plan. It might just be that he shuffles it about. There might be some kind of room for Forrest up front. Maybe a 3 up, not a 3, but sort of a somebody wide, in front, that could cause them problems, because I was on a high. Everybody was on a high for Friday night, and I went up to my local supermarket and I met this wee guy who's worse than me when he's down. He's going, "What are you cheering about? We've not scored a goal. We've not won a game. We're sitting bottom of the section." we've got to win 2-0. I'm like, away you go, jump somewhere else.
But to be fair, though, we played really well. I mean, apart from the arrogance of some pundits, which is fine, you know, there's a lot of English pundits that can annoy the life out of you, and former players as well. But we stopped them playing. I don't think it was a case they had an off day. I thought the game plan was right, Gabriel. We stopped them playing the way they wanted to play. And, you know, if we had just somebody who could get a goal for us, we just don't have it up front. I mean, you mentioned Stephen O'Donnell, which is fine. He deserved all the praise, which is great. I'm so happy for him. I thought he should have been taken out because we were looking for a more advanced player like a Forrest. You can't take him out for this game. Who gets the place of Gilmore in the midfield for you?
It's interesting. Looking from Steve Clarke's point of view, he's got a few options. He could go McTominay back into the middle, maybe Hendry right side of defence. But I thought McTominay was actually pretty good playing in defence, and I like him next. He can zip it into the striker's feet, as you always hear me say. He could go a bit more attacking and perhaps an Armstrong or a Turnbull, and just have McGregor holding, because he'll certainly start after his impressive performance. And then maybe McGinn drops a bit deeper. Or maybe he comes something left field like Roughie says and goes a 3-4-3 and just plays McGinn and McGregor as a 2. But I have a feeling he'll still play the 3 because you want to deal with Modric. Luka Modric is Croatia's best player, even though he can't really run anymore. I still think he'll go with 3. I can see Stuart Armstrong coming back in, and you just hope the balance works, because it didn't really work in that first game when you had Armstrong, McGinn and McTominay. So I think it will be Armstrong, but no, I didn't see 4 changes coming against England on Friday night, so who knows? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, listen, we've got to hand it to Steve Clarke, because it was on a knife edge, had to get something from the game, could have been a win, ended up a draw. And of course, the manager himself mentioned right after the game that he was well proud of the exploits of his team.
I'm proud of them, and I'm pleased for them as well, because they got criticised a little bit too much after the result on Monday against Czech Republic, not the performance. We've been improving for a long time, so it was nice to see the boys play on the pitch. We defended well. The most pleasing aspect was we played well. Obviously we had to be solid defensively. We had to work really hard when England had the ball to stop them creating the chances that they'll always create in a game. So that side it was pleasing, but yeah, pleasing that we could play for the back, play through midfield, and at times we played a lot of good football tonight. That was nice to see.
Yeah, that's a good positive thing, Roughie. We did play some nice football. That augurs well for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think early on, first 10-15 minutes, and I know we spoke about it, you know, jokingly, you know, let England make sure they're in a game. And there was some wee tackles, you know, late tackles early on, 10-15 minutes that they're big players, and Modric comes into the circumstances as well. You know, he's got to be sorted out. He's got to be letting know he's not going to be strolling about, pulling the strings and everything. Somebody's got to get close to him and make sure he's not their best player, because if he's their best player, we're in trouble. But I thought after that, no, any time we were in possession, I think the game plan was absolutely spot on. I thought the manager had got his tactics right. He'd looked at England in depth and identified the 2 or 3 players that might cause you problems. And he snuffed every one of them out. You look at Kane, you look at their midfield players, they never did anything. He identified their 3 good players and said, right, make sure they're not playing. And that's what the players did.
Yeah, and you know, we're talking about Gilmore. If the nation's absolutely flat as a pancake with the news that he's out with COVID, think how Billy Gilmore feels. This was him after the game, 0-0 against England. He's picked up man of the match. He was as high as a kite.
I was ready. We trained with the squad, so I have, and all the boys have helped me settle in really well. To come in and play against England my first game, so proud, and to come here and do really well was even better. It was amazing. The fans were incredible as well, singing from the first minute to the last. They gave us a massive boost, and then for us, the full team knew that we had to go on the pitch and give the fans what they wanted.
Yeah, fantastic. I think his mum was crying when you know, people were singing his name. I mean, it's incredible. They were all singing his name, and I have to say though, when they were interviewing the England players trackside at the end of the game, I think they interviewed one of the England midfielders, and he said, I'll rephrase it, but he says, "You're just a poor Billy Gilmore." Yeah. And I thought it was magnificent.
It was Mason Mount, his club teammate as well, so he wouldn't like that one. But the full-time whistle came, and all the interviews had to be conducted just in front of the Scotland corner. And Gilmore was the first player over because he was the Heineken man of the match or whatever it was. So he had to come over and he got that wee trophy that he had. He did his first interview with the generic broadcaster and he lifted his trophy. I went, yes, in front of everyone. And he got the biggest cheer of the night, and there was a tear in my eye, there was a tear in pretty much everyone's eye. But from where I was sitting as well, I was in the second tier. And just in front, you could see all the players' families. They were in their own sections. So, you'd see the Gilmore 23 tops and the McGinn 7 tops with his brothers there, and it was brilliant. And all the Gilmore 23s right down at the front. Oh, it was fantastic. Such a good night. And not only Gilmore players like Stephen O'Donnell, all his family were there. And it was emotional at the full-time whistle. There was a few boys and girls next to me properly crying because it was...
I knew it was emotional. I saw your after-match report.
I hardly had any voice left.
I thought he was going to burst out crying midway through it, and of course your voice lasted well, so you did well. Listen, give us your thoughts on it. Who would you like to see in the midfield now that Gilmore is obviously out of the match? We're going to look ahead to the game against Croatia because from somewhere he needs to pick a squad that can be direct. Would you make further changes, Roughie, now against Croatia? Incidentally, we have a good record against them.
Yeah, we have. Not a lot of goals in the games. I think we beat them 2-0. I think that's the biggest scoreline there's been. There's been draws, there's been 1-0. They're not a prolific goal scoring team. They tend to, if they're going to win, it's 1-0. It's one each as we've shown. So it's going to be evenly matched. I think the pressure's on both teams because both of them got to win. So from that point of view, I think we're going to be in for an exciting game. I would like to think two teams are going to be going for it, which will make it attractive. They might make it more open spaces at the back, maybe more chances, maybe a bit easier to get a goal. But we've just got to go into the game and hope everything goes right for us. We've got to get the breaks here and there. We've got to possibly get the first goal and then make them come out because they know they need to win. And then you just need to get the breaks on the day, And we have to prove that we can score a goal. I know it is a bit depressing. We're playing well, not the Czech Republic game, but the England game we played well, but we've still not scored a goal. And until somebody scores that first goal, if we score a goal, the whole place will just erupt. I know. Just take the whole group will just take off.
That's the thing. I just feel like, especially the atmosphere in the first game at Hampden against the Czechs, if we just scored that first goal, it will lift off. And I can't see them. Obviously, it's Scotland, so it'll probably be an 89th minute own goal. But if they can just get in front, I trust Steve Clarke to see out the victory. But if they do go one goal behind, it's a massive task. Would they have to change it? Get everyone on because they need to score twice.
I hope there's not any funny games tonight. There are some games tonight that, remember, we had Germany playing Austria once in a World Cup. There's a couple of countries will be sitting there going, here, a draw suit both of us. And I hope that's not the case. I hope they do really get to win games.
Well, thankfully, I looked at the permutations. There's that many of them that I thought, this is a job for Gabs. There are people now hanging on your every word ahead of tomorrow night's game. Before we hear from Stuart Armstrong, what are the permutations?
Well, it is very complicated, as we know. We have no idea where they will be playing if they come third because there's so many permutations. But basically, if they win, they should go through. What you need to happen is tonight in Group B, you'd need Belgium to beat Finland, which we do expect to happen. So that would be no one in third place would have more than 3 points. So we definitely have one. We then just need one of the other three groups to go our way. So that would mean Austria, they're playing Ukraine tonight. That's the one where we just need not a draw there. Either team to win would knock the other one below us. So we need not a draw there. Then you're looking at Group E. You need Spain or Sweden. They're both playing. You need Spain to not win or Poland to not win. They're playing in two separate games. So as long as one of them doesn't win, then in Group F, you need Germany to not win, but they're at home to Hungary, or Portugal not to win. They're playing against France. So
just say for talking's sake we get...
No.
Right, come on.
No, I'm just saying, say we get 4 points.
Yeah.
The next stage is goal difference.
Yes.
And then the next stage is who scored the most goals.
Scored, yes.
So it's not if you end up the same with somebody, it's your record against that team.
Well, it can't be because it goes into, if you can an imaginary third place table of all the 6 teams in third place, so you won't have played any other teams.
So the goal difference is going to be big, presuming we think we're going to win.
Yeah, so for example,
so we need 2 goals.
All those permutations are based on the fact that we just have to win. But say these don't all go our way, we won't know because 2 of the groups don't play until after us. We would then have to win by 2 or 3 to overtake Switzerland, who won last night because they'd scored more than us. And that's where us being the only team to not score a goal yet at the championships come back to bite a little bit. But I do think it could be by tonight. By the end of tonight, Scotland could know exactly what they want.
But as I say, a draw tomorrow to Croatia and us are out.
Yeah, both will be out.
That's why somebody's got to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they'll be going hell for leather, certainly, listening to both camps ahead of this one. There is a real need for us to get a goal. And Stuart Armstrong said, listen, we're creating chances.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a problem if we weren't creating any chances. I think we have had quite a few chances, a lot of opportunities. So it's just those fine margins that will take us to the next level, get us a goal, which we do need on Tuesday.
It is those fine margins, Roughie. I mean, it's just somebody, I mean, Dykes and Shea Adams run their socks off. They grafted the other night there. You just need, them helped by the midfielders to start, really having a crack. I mean, they've got to try and I think we do need 2 goals, but listen, I might be wrong. It might just be the solitary strike.
You have to start thinking, where's the goal going to come from? Is it going to be a corner? Is it going to be a free kick? Is it going to be somebody getting down the flanks and putting a ball in and somebody getting on the end of something? It'd be great if it was a World Cup Willie. If somebody hit one for 25 yards. I mean, that could be something we've done before. I think Lee Fraser did it before, and in a couple of other big games. We definitely need to score first.
Yeah.
We need to score first. I know there's not that many in the stadium, but it'll feel as if the stadium's full. We've all saw what everybody in the houses and the pubs and everything all think about it as well. And that, from a player's point of view, that's the thing that lifts you. If you go one up, if you go one behind, obviously, everybody's down and then you're struggling. Well, let's hope that's not the case. Let's hope we get the first goal and ideally the first 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for that, Roughie. Of course, here's what Stuart Armstrong thinks of Croatia.
Well, they're a good quality side, a lot of individual quality too. So we're very much aware of that. A good team, there's no doubt about that. I think we also have qualities, and as I've said before, and as the team always reiterates, that we focus on ourselves and the strength that we can put into each game.
Yeah, I think we've got to focus on ourselves, see what we can do. Of course, the last thing you want, Gabriel, is a bit of treachery that helps Croatia. I think they're training at Firhill ahead of the game. I mean, why would you even allow that? Honestly, you're a disgrace. Croatian shekels, okay.
I was absolutely amazed. I know we know that UEFA take over these tournaments, but you want to see Firhill. Every branding is covered up.
Is that
in
right?
The train. Every branding that you could see with your eye is branded or blanked out just for a training session.
Are they there today, is it?
Well, I think they're there today, yeah.
Have you got a spy? Tell me.
Nobody's allowed. Nobody's allowed in at all.
A drone?
Nobody at all. No.
Anything, Roughie?
No.
Just to give us an edge. What are you on about? Get a Scottish student from the flats.
Oh, they can see, yeah, so they will.
All the students, if there's any students in the flats overlooking Firhill, take notes. It's as simple as that. And listen, are you superstitious?
As far as Scotland's concerned?
No, when you were playing.
I did a lot of silly wee things.
Yeah, because Lyndon Dykes is going to shave his head again.
I saw that. Yeah, I thought he was saying that everybody should shave their hands.
That reminds me of
Romania.
Yes, there you go, Roughie.
Romania.
The Phil Foden. I tell you what, I am very superstitious as well. I wore my Tierney top in the first game, and he was injured, didn't even play. So down at Wembley, I had my Gilmore top on, and hey, man of the match.
Yeah.
But maybe I've cursed him a bit because now he's obviously out. But talking about superstitions, Scotland 4 goals in the European Championships have all come in the final group game, so that's a good omen. And they've all been scored by a player beginning with Mc. Can you name the 4 players, 4 Mcs to have scored?
4 Mcs that have scored
for Scotland at the European Championships. They're the only players to have scored at the Euros for Scotland.
But at the Euros, right? So you've got McCoist.
McCoist is one.
He's one.
Nobody this time.
No, they were scored at Euro 92.
McAllister.
McAllister.
McClair.
Yep.
Yep.
Last one.
Was it at Euro 92?
Euro 92 because they won 3-0 against CIS, didn't it?
Oh, McAllister, McClare.
It's Mc, all the Mc.
Was Stuart McCall playing then?
No, it's not McCall.
That would have been too early.
Come on, you should get this, Peter Martin.
Is that right? McDouglas? McAllister? McStay?
Paul
Paul
McStay.
McStay.
There you go.
There you go.
So there's a good omen. It's going to be either McGinn, McGregor or McTominay.
Yeah, and here's the final question for Roughie. The last Scotland player to score at a major tournament. We haven't scored in this tournament. Who was the last Scotland player that actually scored a goal at a major tournament for...
McCoist?
No, it was...
You want me to do it?
Go on, fire in.
Craig Burley.
Craig Burley.
Against Norway.
Yeah.
Chipped it over the goalkeeper.
Yes, he did. He did.
Absolutely. So we need something. We need something to get everybody, as you say.
Are you
Roughie,
saying that should be the team selection? You don't get playing if you've got a Mac in there. You're just going to play an 11
We got
Macs.
John McLaughlin. Get him in. Stick him up
listen,
front.
I don't care who scores as long as we get the goal. That's the key to it all. And of course, over and above that, we've got to look at the opposition and say they've had their golden generation for me, Roughie. I thought the team that had Projanecki and Davor Suker, I just thought they were a magnificent side. And then Modric, obviously, the last 5-10 years, Gabs, they've had some good, really good teams as well, Croatia. But I think this one is an ageing one, and they're waiting for the transition for the next one. I mean, if you look at their team, Petkovic, Perisic, Kovacic, Modric, they're probably the key players, the best players of the Croatia side.
I thought it was the same with Serbia. I think we got Serbia at the right time as well. They're going through a transitional period. I did think that was the case with Czech Republic, but I was a wee bit worried about them because of the COVID situation, and 3 or 4 of their big players hadn't taken part. So I knew they were going to be better than what we had seen when we played them. But yeah, I think we've got them at the right time. As I said earlier, I don't think they're prolific. I don't think there's many games they'll play and they'll score 2 goals. So it's going to be really nervy. We've seen we can defend at Wembley, obviously, but again, we go back to it's a home game. Surely let's treat it as a home game. They should be under the cosh. We should have everything going forward. And the thing is, we know we've got to win.
Yeah.
We can't be sitting back. We've got to control the game. We've got to get the balls in the box. We've got to, make them feel as if this is an away game for us.
I'm not quite sure that I would equate Croatia as a team of fantastic at set pieces. They certainly get Modric who can take something from a dead ball situation, but should we be overly worried by the likes of Lovren and Vida?
Both of them have scored in previous tournaments. I think Vida scored in the quarter-final of the World Cup against Russia in extra time. And you know that Dejan Lovren, obviously playing for Liverpool, can win his headers. That is a concern for me, is set pieces. I think we're quite poor defensively and attacking as well, set pieces. Saw John Stones head the ball against the post in the first 10 minutes down at Wembley on Friday night. But they don't have a goal scorer either. They're quite similar to us. Petkovic was their top scorer in qualifying. He only scored 4, and he's not started either of the 2 games. Perisic is the danger man for me in terms of goals. He's got that kind of interesting winger build. He's like 6'1", 6'2". He's 2-footed. He can get in at the far post. You saw him scoring against England in the World Cup semi-final. But they don't have Mandzukic. They don't have Rakitic. They don't have Subasic in goal either. So we can get at them there. And also the left back. We thought Borna Barisic would play after his magnificent season for Rangers, but he's injured. We know he's injury prone. He may be fit enough to play, as Zlatko Dalic was saying this morning, that he has trained twice. But the left back that's been playing, Gvardiol, I think his name is, he's 19 years old, and we can get at him. Perhaps that is a James Forrest or a Shea Adams if he pins him. They can be got at going back the way. Yeah,
Hugh Scott says, Peter, the other good omen for us is we have always won our last group stage game at the Euros. Okay, we've only played 2, but I'm taking anything. Hugh, I'm with you on that. There's lots of people. Hugh says he's hoping that Barisic isn't fit to play tomorrow. But to be perfectly honest with you, we just need something. We need something to actually. Somebody to pop up.
Something special.
Something that we haven't had. Maybe just somebody taking a speculative one. Maybe a John McGinn, similar to that volley he scored for Aston Villa. But we do need something. And with that in mind, give us give us your prediction on the score. How do you think it's going to go? Do you think Scotland can get a 1-0 win? Are you more enthusiastic about it after that game against England? Do you think we can maybe get 2? If you think you maybe get 3, then invite me and Roughie over to your house and we'll have whatever you're drinking. But nevertheless, we need a win. I hope it's not the usual heroic failure for Scotland at this one. Certainly your party at the weekend, Roughie, I was boosted by the fact of you had all the memorabilia in the hall, all in the frames. Even although Kubias did fire a couple past you, his shirt looked absolutely sensational. And when I looked at some of the pictures you had on the wall, Roughie, some of the great players that we had to call on that could score and do something special. We need a wee bit of the spirit of Archie Gemmill, don't we? Yeah,
particularly the picture of the game against Brazil in the Maracana. The players in that photograph are just unbelievable. You know, and the run. I think the first 16 games I played, we only lost 1. And that was the calibre of the team that we had there. But you're right, there was a lot of experience. Archie Gemmill, Don Masson, Bruce Rioch, you know, all these players, you know, in that midfield, and they were super. But I can feel, I know where Stevie Clark's coming for. He's sort of not anticipating us not qualifying and looking to the future. I can see why he's looking to the future. I can see why he's saying this set of players will learn from this and they will go on. But I would like them to learn from it by qualifying. You know, I think, I don't know if he'll get away with it because the performance against Wales was good, but I just feel an adverse result tomorrow, people will start maybe, you know, like we are, we're a bit negative, but they will benefit from it, but it'll be a disappointment, you know, because I don't think Czech Republic or Croatia particularly, they're not going to go anywhere in this tournament. Yeah,
well, no, I agree with you, Roughie. And to be perfectly honest with you, no disrespect to England in any way, an anti-English bias. From what I've witnessed the Friday, I don't see England going. No. I can see them maybe quarters, possibly semis if the whole thing goes their way. They get a wee bit of luck, but I didn't see anything unless he makes a couple of changes and then suddenly a player comes in who emerges. I mean, for me, Grealish is the most likely, but I don't see anything from them on Friday that would suggest they are going to win this tournament.
No, but I think their style of football, nobody would want to play us if we play like that. You know, when we get in about teams and we stop their big players playing, I don't think anybody would feel comfortable playing against us. But you've still got to win. Although you put in a good performance, you've got to be something on the back of the good performance. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying it's got to be a battling performance tomorrow, but with a wee bit of ability as well, and a wee bit of love, craft, whatever you want. And let's talk about winning the game, not about what's going to happen in 2 years' time. Because we've got a tough group there as well. Let's qualify this time, and definitely the players will be better when the next one starts.
Am I being too harsh on England? I can't see them.
No, I was disappointed in them. I'd heard a lot of talk, not only by the pundits and the ex-pros, but just people in general, even Scottish people that I speak to, have said that I think England can go far, because you look at the array of attacking talent they have and you think, oh, they're going to score loads of goals. But they didn't score against us. They got 1 against Croatia, and it was a good goal from Sterling, but it was nearly cleared by Vasalko, the right back, and they won both of their warm-ups 1-0. They're really struggling up front, which is meant to be their main strength. But I think it goes back to Gareth Southgate. He was a defender, and he's a defensive coach. They look quite sound at the back. I know we had 11 shots. I think it was 2 more than them, but they're quite sound at the back. They're happy to defend. It will be when they're going forward that they have the issues. They're going to play, if they do win the group, which we think they will, if they beat the Czech Republic tomorrow, they'll play either Germany, Portugal or France in the last 16. I thought they would probably beat Germany going into the tournament because Germany won such a poor run of form, but I watched the Germans against Portugal on Saturday, 24 hours after England played. I don't know if you two did. They look good. They scored 4 goals. Would England beat Germany? Not for me. Definitely not France. Portugal, they've got Ronaldo, so who knows? It's going to be tough.
Ian Young says it'll be 1-0 to Scotland with 2 minutes to go, and then we know what happens next. So,
I tell you, you see when you say that, there was about 5 minutes to go, and did you see in the box there was just people lying down? We couldn't see the ball, and I was, the net's just going to ripple, something's going to happen, and everyone was the same. And John McGinn came and booted it out. We thought, God for John McGinn, there we go. But everyone in the stadium felt exactly the same. So when that whistle blew, we just thought, hey, maybe we've crossed the barrier here. We're going to do the same against
When
Croatia.
that happened at the end of the game, the first thing I thought was, imagine Archie McPherson was commentating that. I said, woof, there it goes.
I automatically, when the ball was there, and I'm thinking, right, there's going to be a penalty here because McTominay's hand is going to hit the ball. And then the second thing was, to be fair to I think it might have been Sam Matterface mentioned, or it could have been Guy Mowbray mentioned, is that what we call a stramash? And I thought, wee tip of the hat to Arthur Montford. That was his great catchphrase, the great Arthur. Anyway, listen, I think we can edge it. I'm not going to give you a prediction on the scoreline. We'll do that tomorrow on the programme, but I think we can edge it. Roughie, are you confident we can edge it?
Yeah, particularly at home. I think the players will be lifted from Friday night. I think it'll be different tactics. And I think we will create more chances than them. They're not a team that create a lot of chances, and I've already discussed they don't score a lot of goals. So first goal for me will be very important, but I think everybody will be in a high. The dressing room will be buzzing. We're not going into a game in a negative point of view. No, we're not going on the back of a poor performance. We're going on the back of 11 players really working their socks off and working as a team. So the whole camp, even today, tomorrow, should be buzzing, and I'm sure the supporters will be as well.
Yeah, are you confident we can win?
Yeah, I'm confident we can win. Obviously, Gilmore is a big blow to us, but I feel like with the news coming out today, it's almost like, right, let's get over it, and then tomorrow we go again positive. I watched 15 minutes of training this morning, and everyone, all 25 players that were training, were all smiles, happy. They are positive in the camp. Obviously, they'll be gutted for Billy and hope he recovers well. But I feel like it won't be the blow when we saw the team news on last Monday against the Czech Republic when there was no Tierney. We were all looking at each other, what's going on? There's no Tierney, he's one of our best players. And I feel like that maybe affected us, but then we'll come to terms that, okay, no Gilmore, we'll have another plan in place. He'll have 2 days training with Armstrong or Turnbull or McTominay back in there, whoever he goes with. I am confident, but I just don't know. I feel like if the results go our way tonight, and we know it's just a victory needed, that will help, and we'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, well, we'll get your prediction because Gabs is going to be out there at Hampden Park for us ahead of the game. We'll be live at 4 o'clock, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. You can indeed subscribe to our YouTube channel because we'll be going exclusively to YouTube for the new season. Hopefully you will be able to subscribe and join us on the platform. You can get it on an app. The best way to actually never miss a show and all the other features that are coming for the new season is to download the app, PLZ Soccer. You can actually hit submissions and record a little video message and give us your thoughts because if you do and we use it on the show, we'll send you a little special thank you prize. So download the PLZ Soccer app and you can record your message. It also gives you all the latest breaking news from Scottish football, English, European and world football as well. And you get live, unique video content. So it's well worth getting a hold of the PLZ Soccer app. With regards to the actual table itself, well, we know the Czech Republic and England have got 4 points. Croatia and Scotland, Croatia with -1 in the goal difference, we've got -2, so we're really hoping that we can turn over Croatia. As far as England are concerned, there's a wee bit of edge about it. I mean, I hope we're not in a carve up here between England and the Czech Republic, but I think England have got a chance to put the misery of Friday behind them and get the win that they require. Yeah, they really need a lifting performance, because they're on quite a big downer. Full-time whistle, they got booed off by their home fans, which for me is quite ridiculous. I know Scotland also, there were a few boos when they lost to Czech Republic in the opening game, but it was only a draw. They're 4 points. They are still sitting joint top of the group. So to boo Gareth Southgate and his players, for me, I wouldn't personally ever do it. But they really need a lift. I think he will change things up. I think he'll bring in Grealish. He says he'll stick with Kane. He's really struggled the last few games for England. I think it's 2 in his last 11. I also think the fullbacks could do a change. I don't think James and Shaw made a difference. They were dealt with quite comfortably by Scotland. But then again, we spoke when you came in, the Czechs will be stuffy. Schick up top is a good player. He's better than a lot of us thought. 2 goals against us and scored the goal against Croatia as well. And I don't want to say it in case you think I'm a bit arrogant, but England could still come third. If they lose this game, and if Scotland win 2-0 and England lose to Czech Republic, Scotland will be ahead of England, which is quite frankly ridiculous from how doom and gloom we were after the first game. If that happens, Gabs, let me tell you right now,
England will be calling for Gareth Southgate's head in the morning or even that night, to be honest with you, Roughie. That's the nature of it.
Yeah, there are certain English journalists out there do go for the jugular. I mean, they always think they're going to get the quarterfinals, semi-finals. So if that scenario was to happen, I think it would just finish the manager.
It means they can't take it easily. They can't do 8 like Italy did against Wales yesterday, and they still won. England can't afford to do that. They need to win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think England can win it? Who's going to score the goals? Well, Kieran Trippier reckons that Harry Kane still has what it takes.
With H, he works so hard for the team, and I think people might not recognise that what he does off the ball, the pressing that he does. Obviously, I believe in Harry, and I know he'll score goals, but it's the work that he does for the team. So I think some people might not recognise what he does, the link-up play, but Harry's chances will come, and for sure he'll score goals.
Well, the point here is if we're all doom and gloom because we've lost a 20-year-old, they're all doom and gloom because Kane's not scoring. I mean, they've got one player. I think he's world class, Roughie. Harry Kane, but he's off it, and there's no successor.
No, I just don't think he got the supply on Friday night. I think, as I said, the manager got his tactics right. They identified the players who are going to supply him, who are going to give him chances. There was nothing coming in for either side, for him to get on the end. He was getting deeper and deeper, and as all good strikers do, they just want to get a touch of the ball. But no, I thought they handled them really well, and they stopped, as I said, the two midfield players as well, who link up with him. They weren't having a good game either, so it's just about, identifying the best players, and that's what good managers do. They identify the people in the opposition who are going to hurt you, and you make sure that they don't play.
Yeah, listen, if it was down to me, do I care how England fare? Absolutely not. Do I care from a football perspective, Gabriel, on certain players that I like watching? Well, yeah, because you are paid to watch football, you watch it, you enjoy certain players, and one of them is Jack Grealish. And if I was looking at England, I'd think he is a star man. He is the one player that really excites me when he gets on the ball. When I watched the Premier League in England last season, if he was playing, I would watch the game. Yeah,
he's great to watch. You love someone that takes a man on. That's what he always does. He beats the first man. He does slow the game down a little bit. When he came on against Scotland, I was saying the loudest cheer of the day was when Steven Naismith nailed him at the halfway line, because he'd been beating him every time. He thought, I've had enough of this, so I'll just take the book in and get back in. But he is such a good player. It is a tough position to get into, because Raheem Sterling, he offers England a lot, because when you have Kane coming deep, no one goes in behind, which is why you kind of need Sterling or someone to run in. Perhaps that's, if you play Grealish, I think you need the fullbacks to get higher. Scotland dealt with the fullbacks so well. You didn't see Shaw or James getting round O'Donnell or Robertson at any point. But Grealish, for me, has to play. I would, like you always say, build the team around him. For me, he has to start. He's a talent that's too good to ignore. Whether you play him centrally and then perhaps drop Mount deeper. I like Mount as well. I don't think they need Rice and Phillips both in there. It's two players too deep for me that do the same job. So I'd like to see Grealish play, and I think he'll.
Did you see? I never saw it during the game, but did you see the clip that was going out and one of the English players took one of our players out? It was an elbow, just a smart.
Who was the player?
It was one. I think it was McGinn. He was running by him off the ball, and he just sort of took him out with his elbow. It was one of the off the balls that that camera that we saw never picked it up, but it was a sending off for me.
Don't hold your breath, Roughie, on any retrospective for the England player. Although,
what are you thinking about your VAR? Hasn't it been handled well?
Quickly,
isn't it? Quickly. Much better.
And they've changed the handball rule as well, so you're not just seeing penalties anytime it flicks someone's finger in the box. Which is
the one thing I still would like to see, I don't know if you guys and some of you guys who are watching the programme, when I say guys, I mean collectively guys, girls, everybody in together. I think I'd still like to see the offside, Roughie, clear distance between the body. I'm not into arms and knees. A clear distance. And then the line, if the guy is ahead of the line, if he's just somehow there's a bit of body touching, then he's onside. We want to see goals. We want to see positivity.
Yeah, now the one that really annoys me, and I know why they do it, is the linesman not putting his flag up when you're offside, putting it up right away. Because there's going to be an occasion where everybody will think it's Stonewall offside, and he doesn't put his flag up, and the guy's just going to walk through because everybody will stop.
Yeah, but I think, as I said to you the other day, the reason why they let him walk through and let him play the whole part out is if the linesman's got it wrong, Gabs, you want to give the team who are attacking the benefit of the doubt and the ability to actually score the goal.
Yeah, they always do get told to keep it down now, which you can see why, but there are sometimes when they're 4 yards offside and you think, just put your flag up, he's 4 yards offside. But interesting what you say about offside. Next year the Premier League confirmed that they'll be using thicker lines for the offside VAR, which means that it will be a less kind of distance between, so you're less likely to get your armpit is offside or your knee hair is offside with these new thicker lines apparently. So we'll see if it changes, but VAR has definitely been used a lot better than we've seen domestically and in the World Cup 3 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, lots of people just mentioning that there is a chance that we can make it. There's real confidence in the air, despite that blow of Billy Gilmore. Fingers crossed we can do it. I think England will get the win against the Czech Republic. Do you?
Yeah, I think they'll win 2-1. I think Grealish will have his breakout game and confirm his place in their team going forwards. I think they'll just edge it, but the Czechs will go through in second, and then hopefully us in third.
Yeah, fingers crossed that we can make it. We're certainly positive about it. Give us your thoughts on it. If you get a chance, download the PLZ Soccer app and record your message, and it'll drop into our server, and we'll pick the best of them and put them out on the show as well. Incidentally, we've all been playing the Fandex and the PLZ Soccer Euro 2020 game. If you're on the website, click on it. You can win cash prizes, and it's absolutely free to play. It's as simple as that. Just a bit of fun. It's like a stock exchange. You pick a team, and if they win a game, their stock price goes up, and if they lose a few games, then obviously you can sell the shares on it. But it costs you nothing to play it, and you could win cash prizes at the end of each stage. So good luck with that. I've got to give a mention to Wales. Brilliant. They're into the next stage, Roughie, yet again. Battling performance. Italy, I thought might have scored a few more goals, but who cares? Wales got the luck, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. This is a Welsh team that's been to big tournaments, and not all the players have been to the big tournaments, but the majority of them have been. They know what it's all about. They know how to set out their stall, and they're hard to beat. And they all, as we saw in the last game, they all work for each other. They all battle for each other. It's just an overall team performance. I know they've got Bale, but if you take him out of the equation, it's just a really good club side that they've got.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, great hope for yourself, Gabs, because even great players can miss from 6 yards and put it over the bar.
That's like me with my left foot.
Bale's sitter.
Oh, an absolute sitter. They'd hardly had a sniff all game, and then suddenly there was the gap in the Italian defence. And you put your money on him scoring that goal. But hey, nevertheless, they're through. And what you say, Roughie, they have that club feel. I think if you do get to the last 16, it just galvanises the country, and these players will become, the camaraderie will increase. And you see it with Wales. Yesterday, because of the whole goal difference, they thought, right, we went down to 10 men, let's just lose this 1-0. I know they did have that chance. They thought, let's just lose this 1-0. And they have that belief. And going forward, they've got that because of 5 years ago in 2016 when they went all the way to the semi-final. I think if we can get through to the last 16, anything can happen, and it will serve us so well going forward as well.
If we get through to this next stage, this country is going to be celebrating. They'll be buying Billy Gilmore Scotland shirts from now all the way through to Christmas. They'll be buying Stephen O'Donnell shirts. Yeah. I'll buy a Stephen O'Donnell shirt if we get to the end of it.
Can we really look forward and go, who is it we get?
In the final?
B? No, in the next round. What group?
So I was saying, it depends.
If you're third, how do you work it?
If you're third, there's a really convoluted system that it depends on the 4 that go through. I think at the moment it could be the Netherlands or France, and I think that the highest percentage chance we finish third is that we'll be playing in Budapest. But there is also a chance we finish third that we could be playing in Glasgow, which would be another massive benefit again. So again, we'll know more tomorrow after groups B and C conclude. And then once we know what happens in our group, it'll all become clear. But can you imagine the rush if we don't find out until Group F finishes on Wednesday and we're through to everyone booking their flights to Baku or wherever it is, Bucharest, who knows? Oh.
Just make sure you take bin bags so we can clear up afterwards as well. It's always a good sign, Roughie.
Yeah, it was a good sign.
Yeah. Listen, just before we go, games on today at 5 o'clock, North Macedonia against Netherlands. I think Netherlands will get that win easily enough, Roughie.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're beginning to kick on. I think obviously we got a draw against them, but I think that was a lesson learned for them. I think that their big players are beginning to play.
Yep. You going for Netherlands, yeah?
Yeah, I think this is the weakest group, Group C, but I think they'll get through. It'll be interesting to see how they do in the next round, whether it's us they face again, because we obviously played them just 2-3 weeks ago. But I think the Netherlands will win this one, yeah.
And I'm going for Shevchenko's Ukraine to do it against Austria.
Oh yeah, that game's given me the fear about. Remember, as a young Italy fan, Euro 2004, Italy had already played, and it was Sweden against Denmark. Do you remember it? And if they drew 2-2 or 3-3 or 4-4, they went through on goals scored. And they drew 2-2 and Italy went out, and my dad still hasn't forgiven Sweden or Denmark for that. So I'm just getting the fear that they might play out a draw. As long as one of them wins, I don't care who. I think Ukraine will edge it though, 2-1.
Yeah, I like that line from him, Roughie. As a young Italy fan, he's hedging his bets, isn't he? If Scotland get pumped out,
have you seen them play?
Suddenly he's Italian, you know, and he's going to Zelda, which is a joy that I'll become Pierre Martin for if Scotland go out. Anyway, as far as the other games, which is the late ones, I think there's two good games. Finland, Belgium and Russia against Denmark. I'll probably watch Finland, Belgium, to be honest with you. I'm going Belgium and I'm going Russia to win. Yeah, Belgium will probably rotate a lot as well because they've got 2 victories so far, but I do love watching them. They're my favourite team because I just love Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's unbelievable. And I've got Lukaku on to be top scorer, so I hope he can rattle in a few here if he does come on or play. We want Belgium to win again to help us. Russia-Denmark could be an interesting one. Obviously, Denmark still playing with Christian Eriksen in their thoughts. That's their final game in Copenhagen. And they really want to try and get through as well, so they really need a victory and some good goal difference as well against Russia. So I think Denmark will beat Russia 2-0 and Belgium 3-0. Roughie?
I hope Denmark wins. I think we all want Denmark to win,
don't
don't
we?
Yeah, a
wee bit sentimentality, yep.
Yeah, he's obviously improving day by day, but a Denmark win would just give him a wee lift. Yeah. Last point, a lot of our pundits, hopefully you've enjoyed them last season. They'll be back with us next season, of course, fitness permitting. Charlie Adam, he won championship player of the year. Well done to Charlie, absolutely magnificent. Of course, he's out there on, I think he's on every channel at the moment, to be honest with you, but we have him as a PLZ signing. Great that he won it.
Yeah, that's why we need him in our team. Championship player of the season, he needs to be playing for PLZ. But I can't wait to see him next season at Ibrox and Parkhead up at Pittodrie. It'll be fantastic to see him. And I wonder, you gave him a bit of stick at the start of the season for towing a caravan, but hey, he's proven you wrong. Player of the season.
Yeah,
let's see what he's like next year.
I've modelled my entire career on Roughie, towing a caravan, but able to play a pass.
No, even though he was towing a caravan that night, what about the goal he scored?
Oh, no.
I mean, that is it. And obviously, he's the main man. To have somebody like that in your dressing room is just magnificent. You know, he's going to come up with the goods when it happens, and he's the one. Yeah, absolutely. Well done to you, Charlie. We'll be looking forward to seeing you coming back into the studio as well and previewing what is going to be a really exciting season. We'll be back the week before the season starts on the 31st. I think it's the 24th. We'll be back on the Monday looking ahead to the big kick-off in the Scottish Premiership. So hopefully you can join us for that. But it's all about the Euros at the moment. We are on following Scotland. If Scotland do qualify, then we will continue on, Roughie. Yep. We've got to keep coming on. Yeah. Live from Budapest.
Yeah. if we get a flight and we get tickets, we're all there. Anyway, thank you to you for watching us. Don't forget, download the app. You'll get all the latest content, and you can actually watch on your phone. If you're not maybe in your house, you can watch it elsewhere on the move. Download PLZ Soccer's app, and if you do get an opportunity, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Gabs will be live at Hampden Park tomorrow night. We'll be previewing it from 4 o'clock. Hopefully you can join us then. From Gabs, Roughie and myself, Peter Martin, thanks for watching.